Thank you, thank you, thank you. You're far too kind. You could have been anywhere in the world today, but you chose to be here with me and I truly appreciate it. This is CNN Reports on the Cartoon News Network and I'm Sean Sanity. In our first report on the evidence that Jay-Z's ex-bestie drug dealing partner, DeHaven Irby, attempted to snitch on him, we discussed just how shady it was for DeHaven to call Jay's mom after his arrest in 1998. In part 2, we looked at the improbability that a convicted criminal, awaiting trial with an ankle monitor, could get permission to go to a Jay-Z concert if he wasn't trying to snitch. In part 3, we examined DeHaven's fallout with Dame Dash and the attempt on Jay-Z's life in 1995 by someone in his Marcy crew. Jay stopped speaking to DeHaven because he remained cool with the person that attempted to kill him. In 1998, DeHaven was arrested on drug kingpin charges along with Emory Jones and Emory's best friend from Maryland, Big Ty. 3 years had passed since Jay had done business with him. We conclude this series by discussing life for DeHaven between 1995 and 1998 because we all know how Jay-Z's been living his best life since he dropped Reasonable Doubt. It is important to note that during their early years hustling together, Jay was also moving between Trenton and New York to record with his early rap mentor Jazzo. In 1989 they would travel to London to work on his debut album Word to the Jazz. After being left with a negative view of the music industry, Jay would double down on his hustling with DeHaven, and they soon came to work alongside Emory Jones. When their operation first expanded into Maryland, and then later Virginia, Emory's house on Robin Street in Cambridge would become the cooking spot for the crew when traveling along the I-95 expressway. Emory is someone who Jay still has in his inner circle, operating as the creative director of the Rock Nation clothing label Paper Planes. In Decoded, Jay spoke openly of doing major work in Maryland, but revealed that period of time ended badly with shootouts in clubs, major police investigations, and whole crews arrested. Jay got out just in time. Some of his best friends were not so lucky. In part 3, we introduced Jay's big homie and former drug connect Calvin Klein Dakota into the story. In 1989, Calvin Klein and Jay-Z were arrested after a shootout in a club. Jay's big homie did what a big homie was supposed to do. He made sure Jay was dropped from the case and he went to prison for the shit that he did. Let's listen to DeHaven talk about Calvin Klein and then we'll listen to the man speak for himself.
I ain't gonna front, Klein, I can't lie, man. I made money with the brother, you know what I mean? My right-hand man introduced me to Klein, and some way, somehow, we ended up doing business with Klein, and that shit worked out. It really worked out. But for some reason, my partner was like, yo, we don't fucking need him no more. You know what I mean? I don't know why my partner felt that way, because we wasn't spending a lot of money. He was just, dumping that shit. So my partner, I ain't tell my partner that I was still fucking with Klein.
No, while I was in prison, I think the only time that I spoke to anybody was in 96, 97. That's when Jay came out with Ain't No Nigga video. And that's when they was in Virginia. And I had wound up getting a call, well actually not getting a call because I was locked up though, but I wound up calling Tata. And while I was speaking to Tata was kind of like, telling me how much they missed me, how much it would have been a good thing, with me being there, you know what I mean, that, and a whole bunch of other good stuff that, I was appreciate hearing, and that was inspiring for me for where I was at. And, but at the same time, what they didn't realize was that although I was still locked up, I was still under investigation, Sometimes, you can't get rid of the old habits. And some of my old habits I still was doing while I was in jail. I was still calling shots from the inside. I was still making moves from the inside and things of that nature though. So I was still under investigation while on the inside. That was the word and that's how, people were speaking and thinking. When I got the opportunity to speak to Tata, Jay had came in from wherever he was at and he had asked Tata who was on the phone. And one thing that I never wanted to do while I was in there was have a phone conversation with Jay. So when Jay was like, and I heard his excitement in his voice and everything else, but he was like, yo, let me speak to him. As soon as Jay took the phone from Tata and said hello, I hung up on them, and I never called them back again. You know, and I felt like at some point I was going to explain to them why I did that. But to be honest with you, this is actually the first time that I've ever even said that.
So, Calvin Klein is the only nigga that had enough sense to know that you don't talk to your drug dealing / rapper homeboy on a phone from jail in 1996? I know that shit and I'm just a kid. DeHaven definitely needs a better explanation for calling Jay-Z's mom from jail in 1998. Especially, considering the fact that the two of them had not spoken to each other in 3 years. A year into their Jersey drug dealing partnership, Jay-Z and DeHaven each allegedly had $100,000 cash hidden in their mattresses, with this number increasing steadily over the months. Most people don't make that much money selling drugs, but everyone thinks that they could be the one that really makes it and gets successful, Jay told Vanity Fair. But I did, because when you went to Trenton, the prices doubled and tripled. So I was more successful than the guy who stood in front of the apartment building in Marcy. According to DeHaven in a 2011 interview with The Post, the two operated under two different business philosophies. Jay was more efficient. I would overpay the runners so they would be happy and not steal, but he would pay them exactly what they were worth, DeHaven explained. I kept 15 runners and he had 2 people and we were doing pretty much the same numbers. During most of their time together, DeHaven was making around the same amount of money as his drug dealing partners in Maryland. In 1994, Dame Dash, Kareem Biggs Burke, and OG Juan Perez entered the picture and Jigga's rap career began to bubble. In 95, Jay-Z, his real best friend from Marcy Ta, and Jay's cousin, B-High, stopped dealing drugs with some of the niggas from Marcy because of an attempt on Jay's life. The big homie and self-professed Brooklyn Don Calvin Klein was calling shots from prison, but there was confusion on the streets. DeHaven chose to ride with some broke niggas from Marcy instead of his brother from another mother. Bad choice. Let's listen to DeHaven lie about his life from 1995 until his arrest in '98.
Yeah, I was around when Dame came, before Biggs, though. That's the start of Jay and Dame relationship, and I don't know, it's just, his career just started blossoming. It's just started, he had a direction to go in, he had a manager, and then Biggs come in. You know what I'm saying? I've never traveled around, when they started to engage with them, like me and Jay wasn't around each other as much. So I wasn't a part of that being built right there. You know what I'm saying? I still was doing me over here, but I would show homage every now and then. But yo, you gonna be here? All right, I'll be over here. But I didn't mix in with them. I didn't do no traveling and do all that. Nah, I didn't fit in over there for some reason.
Okay, because you said you were there when Rockefeller got their official paperwork.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
But you didn't want to be part of that company?
Nah, I wasn't interested in. Why would I be interested in Jay got this? I mean, that's just my form of thinking. Like, you know, at the end of the day, I got my bread, I'm doing me, my brother doing good, and if that do well, what I need to be into it for? Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like,
nah, I'm celebrating the streets. I'm living. The Reasonable Doubt is out. That's my life. So I'm in the streets and like, yo, this is it. You know, I'm getting shout outs and that's where DeHaven introduced me to the game and, you know, I'm living that thing on the streets and my numbers are up. You feel me? So that's what we doing, you know, that's where my energy was. I wasn't with them, but I was down south or in DC somewhere celebrating that. Because everybody knew that I was attached to that. I'm just chilling and shit. I'm sitting in my room. I used to count money at night and shit when the house was quiet. And when like my shorty come in the room, and she like, damn, you know, I ain't know you had this. We sitting on this kind of money. Like, why are you even doing this shit? She convinced me that night to quit. That night, she's like, yo, we got enough. We got businesses, we got cribs, we got houses. What more we need? What's the ending goal? And then I had thought about shit was so out of order. I was like, yo, all right, I quit. Where you want to go? We moving to North Carolina. And like I said, by me having that feeling and me quit saved my whole life. That's how I beat my case.
What was Jay-Z's thoughts when you told him you were quitting the game?
He was in another area. He was really kind of into the music, really deep into the music. And we had already had a minor falling out. So it wasn't like it was publicized. I'm just living in North Carolina now. And he doing what he doing.
Do you remember at what point did he meet Dame Dash?
I don't know what year. It had to be 94, 95 that Dame Dash came in the picture, and you know, he introduced me to Dame. Like,
DeHaven always manages to sound like a clown. Shout out to DJ Vlad and Cam Capone for exposing this lying ass nigga during their interviews. Check them out and play a drinking game. Every time DeHaven lies, you've got to take a shot of your favorite adult beverage. What the fuck did he mean when he said that he didn't want to be a business partner making money with Rockefeller Records? What drug dealer on this planet does not dream of laundering his drug money in the music industry and becoming a CEO like Dame Dash or Kareem Biggs Burke? Please subscribe and hit the like button for more content. It's free for you and a big help to an up and coming channel. DeHaven's dumbass needs to get his story straight. Did he retire and move to North Carolina with lots of cash and businesses? Or was he down south or in DC getting his numbers up because Reasonable Doubt was out allegedly telling the story of his life? And what the fuck did DeHaven mean when he said that him and Jay had a minor falling out? Niggas that he still hangs with attempted to kill him. Jay has not personally spoken to him due to a belief that DeHaven spoke to the feds about him and his involvement in the drug ring. Emery of course had told 12. Gimme 12. He told them to go to hell about me. Jay rapped on Drug Dealers Anonymous. The rapper would address his and DeHaven's now strained relationship in September 1998 on A Week Ago, and later on 2002's It Ain't Personal, and 2006's Black Republican. In 2000 DeHaven was acquitted from the conspiracy charges on technical grounds and released from prison, but he would return to the system 2 years later. When DeHaven was released from prison in 2006, he tried to contact Jay-Z, but couldn't, so he started uploading disrespectful YouTube videos. This resulted in Jigga naming his ex-partner for the first time in 4 years. Fuck DeHaven for caving, that's why we don't speak, he rapped on the standout American gangster track No Hook. In an interview with Vulture magazine in 2007, DeHaven was asked, when did the two of you have a falling out? His response was of course a lie. He said, we never really had a falling out, that's the problem. This is why I'm so confused. There was no argument, there was none of that. I don't want an apology from him, I want a reason. What happened? When my case of federal drug conspiracy charge came in 1998, I never seen him again too much anymore. The case had nothing to do with him, his name never came up, so I'd like to ask him, what happened? Where did his departure come from? DeHaven was also asked, when he talks about you on No Hook, is he accusing you of snitching? DeHaven answered, I think he's talking about the way I went about this YouTube project and not about snitching. But he's into subliminal messages, so I think he's trying to get me hurt. That goes beyond disrespect. He's getting my safety involved. I can't believe my own daughter's godfather is trying to get me hurt. But it won't work. Being that I've been in prison a lot of times, a lot of people know my credibility. They know I went all the way to trial with my federal case, and I won. I'm a kid and I know that DeHaven went to trial, the case was dismissed, and he was released from jail in 2000. He went to jail again in 2002 because he was a drug dealer dealing drugs. He didn't stop dealing drugs after his fallout with Jay in 1995. He kept selling drugs and kept getting caught. It's obvious to everyone at this network that DeHaven attempted to snitch on his childhood friend. Just listen to all of the hate in this man's heart.
But they didn't have me. But what I did see in all the paperwork is they had the right guy. They just had the wrong time. You know what I'm saying? So when they had picked me up on this charge or these cases, I already done what I done. Like I already gave the game back. I already quit, left, didn't touch anything. When I quit the game, and that's what saved me.
Right, because you had quit, what, 3 years earlier?
Yeah, I was 3 years later they came and got me.
Got it. Okay, so Emery was one of your co-defendants. But Jay-Z, was he tied into this case at all or no?
His name, I probably heard it once.
Okay.
And they passed by, they bypassed that so fast that I really don't know if I really heard it once or not. I probably heard it once. But looking at the discovery and seeing how they recorded every conversation, how they not gonna have no conversation with him having conversations with everybody else.
Oh, so Emery's phone was actually tapped.
Yeah. If they got a wire, I hear a wire tapped. I'm listening to his voice. Once that snitch get on to you, it's on. It's nothing you can do. Your phone is wired now. So if they listening to Emery, who they listening to Emery talk to?